And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. It's okay.
Joan Rivers died on Thursday, says her daughter Melissa Rivers in a statement. Rivers died at Mount Sinai Hospital, where she was taken last Thursday after she went into cardiac arrest at a Manhattan doctor's office following a routine procedure. She was 81.
You are absolutely right that John McCain has not talked about my Muslim faith, and you're absolutely...
I have been trying to get this man to become honest about his drug use since last fall, okay? I can't force him to stand up in front of the American people and say, hey, I'm a liar and I'm a drug user. Even more so, I can't force him to stand up today and tell people that he had another gay lover in Chicago that was murdered in December.
Are you talking about Senator Obama, that he had a homosexual relationship with somebody that was murdered in Chicago?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Wow. When did it happen?
Donald Young was murdered in December of 2007. And my attempts to contact the Chicago Police Department on information that links Senator Obama to this gentleman and his death have been ignored.
I'm making this video and posting it on YouTube because of an incident involving myself and Senator Barack Obama between November 3rd and November 8th of 1999 in the Chicago, Illinois area. The mainstream media and Obama himself has done greatly to prevent this story from becoming public. During those time periods in 1999, I met Obama at an upscale lounge in Chicago, Illinois. After having a few drinks, Obama and I left in my limo, began to drink. Mr. Obama acquired powder cocaine for my use, crack cocaine for his use. I performed oral sex on Senator Obama, who at the time was a state representative for the state of Illinois. Mr. Obama knows these allegations to be true. I'm challenging Mr. Obama to come forth, be honest, stop claiming that his drug use is limited to his teenage years. 1999, you weren't a teenager. 1999, you were a state representative for the people of the state of Illinois. 1999, I performed oral sex on you in the back of my limo, as well as in my hotel room in Gurnee, Illinois, 2 days later. If you challenge the authenticity of this allegation, I challenge you to take a polygraph test, as I will submit to as well. These allegations are true and need to be told to the public. Let the public decide whether Mr. Obama is being forthright and honest. Thank you.
The story has been suppressed, as you well know. The Globe, an American tabloid, has come out with its second edition on this story. The headline, Obama Caught Up in Gay Murder Probe. The story just got a lot bigger. Pastor James Manning has come forward and made allegations which back up Larry Sinclair's that Barack Obama is bisexual, homosexual, or gay, whatever your preference. Pastor Manning, thank you for being here. You are making statements here that, again, mirror and echo those of Larry Sinclair.
Absolutely. Well, let me say this. My statements are as solid as a rock. And at the opportune time, I will demonstrate them, as I did when I made statements regarding his mother and about himself and his father and what went on in that relationship when they first came together. Mm-hmm. And I also stated then that I would only make my proof of my statements available at the opportune time for several reasons. One is the Obama campaign is a very shrewd campaign, and they're able to circumvent you. If you put your information out, and if you're not fully protected with it, they know how. That David Axelrod and all that crowd knows exactly how to circumvent. And the Obama campaign also has absolute sway over the liberal media, so they know how to quash a story in a moment, the way they're doing with Larry Sinclair. The other item is that when I did put my statements out regarding his mother and how he came into being about a month after I put my statements out.
Mm-hmm.
Time magazine came out with an article.
Mm-hmm.
I was right then. I'm right now. Jeremiah Wright is definitely a closet homosexual. There's no doubt about it. And Obama is as well, and Larry Sinclair will testify to that. But there are a whole lot of other folk in Trinity, United Church of Christ, and around Chicago that would testify to the fact that Obama is a homosexual, or as you stated or introduced, as a bisexual, because he is married and obviously enjoys relationships with women as well. But my proof is as solid as a rock, and at the opportune time, I will demonstrate it.
When you first heard of Larry Sinclair and his allegations, did that surprise you at all that it came?
Not at all. I knew that, knowing what I know about Obama, that, when you're a homosexual and you're in the closet, you're constantly trying to feed that sex drive without being caught. And when you have a high visibility such as his, you're always dramatizing what you're doing, and you're bringing more people into your web of sin. And now that he's become a presidential candidate, he's had to scrutinize himself more. But that sexual drive doesn't go away. So, no, I was not surprised to hear what Larry Sinclair had to say.
Not exactly an unknown issue that he is at least bisexual.
Everybody knew about Clinton's problems while he was governor, and as he was running for president, everyone knew about them. It's just that, these people are able to manage the press. That's why I'm carefully guarding the things that I say or demonstrating my proof. They're able to manage the press in such a way, and public opinion in such a way as to, even though these things are well known, they're able to squash it in such a way as to make the people who come out and make statements look foolish. Right. So I'm watching, and they already control the media. They control what people think. They control what we listen to, and now have this candidate. So I'm not surprised that this matter is suppressed the way it is. What I am surprised is that Larry Sinclair is still alive. That's what I'm surprised at.
That is something that Larry worries about quite a bit, too, his personal safety. He has received God only knows how many death threats. There certainly is a very powerful cabal interested in electing Barack Obama to the White House. These people certainly obviously have their hands on the majority, if not the overwhelming dominance of the American mass media, hence the oblivion status of the story. I think that Larry Sinclair would do very well to go to Washington, D.C. with proper protection to the National Press Club and call for a national press conference and make his statements and allegations right there. Would you, sir, be willing to appear at such a press conference, should there be one?
Yes, I would. Without hesitation, I would definitely appear.
All right. I think that's something the American people have a right to know.
On June 28, 2006, Senator Barack Obama gave a speech to the Call to Renewal Conference, where he explained why he finds it so difficult for America to use the Bible to help guide our public policy.
Which passages of Scripture should guide our public policy? Should we go with Leviticus, which suggests slavery is okay? Or we could go with Deuteronomy, which suggests stoning your child if he strays from the faith? Or should we just stick to the Sermon on the Mount, a passage that is so radical that it's doubtful that our own Defense Department would survive its application? Folks haven't been reading their Bible.
Senator Obama, after you so arrogantly mocked and ridiculed the books of Leviticus, Deuteronomy, and the Sermon on the Mount, taking those passages of the Bible so painfully out of context, you then condescendingly stated that, quote, folks haven't been reading their Bible, unquote, as if the American people don't know what's in there. The real question is, do you know what's in there, Senator? For instance, did you not know that most Christians and historians agree that the Sermon on the Mount contains the most spiritually inspiring words ever uttered by Jesus Christ or any other religious leader? And as far as your sarcastic remark regarding the Defense Department not being able to survive the Sermon on the Mount's application, I can assure you, Senator, that Christ would never advocate turning the other cheek to terrorists and America's enemies, as your smug laughter so clearly implied. And did you not know, Senator Obama, that the book of Deuteronomy which you also arrogantly mock and ridicule, is what gave us the Ten Commandments? Folks, all those condescending remarks distorting our Judeo-Christian Bible did not come out of the mouth of Barack Obama's pastor, Jeremiah Wright. No, they came straight out of the mouth of Barack Obama.
Folks haven't been reading the Bible.
My Muslim faith, my Muslim faith, my Muslim faith, my Muslim faith.
All right, let me ask you one question unrelated to you, this from yesterday, but it's so relevant, and it happens the same time you're having this press conference. Andrew Breitbart, who also was at the Conservative Leadership Conference last year as our keynote speaker, if you recall, he died yesterday, early morning hours, and he was supposed to have released some, as they say, damning Obama footage. And you're a law enforcement official. Michael Savage has suggested that Breitbart was assassinated. We don't know that. But, I mean, if you were a sheriff or a law enforcement official in Los Angeles, would you be seriously looking into the death of Andrew Breitbart?
Well, I'm going to give you a scoop.
Okay.
First of all, I talked to him 4 or 5 hours before he died, okay?
You did?
He called me. And we talked about, he knew that I was having a press conference the day after. This was the 29th. And he said he had information and all that. Now, I've been around a long time in Washington through the Watergate. I can tell you, G. Gordon Lee, I know all this stuff. I've been a federal official for 30 years, so I know about Washington, having worked there 3 different times. I'm not going into conspiracy theory, but you always gotta keep your eyes and ears open. You can't just disregard any situation. Here's a person that I had a lot of respect for. He calls me, and right after that, he dies. Now, am I a jinx, or what's going on here?
I would hope not, because I called you, too. I do want to know, though, what did he talk to you about? What did he have to say?
Well, he knew I was having a press conference on March 1. He had Jerry Corsi told me he was going to call me. He had the information on tapes or whatever. So the man calls me. And quite frankly, I didn't remember him. You know, I got so many calls, and he mentioned that he's happy I'm doing my press conference, and had some good information. And then I hear that he dies 4 or 5 hours later. So I don't know. Am I the kiss of death or what?
Wow.
I feel sorry for his family. I'm beginning to learn more about him. And I may have met him at your meeting, I don't know, but he called me, and I talked to him.
Yeah, he was the keynote speaker. You were one of our speakers, too, and he was the keynote speaker. And, I mean, he overwhelmed people because he was supposed to speak like up to 30 minutes. He went on for an hour and a half. No one even began to leave the room, as they don't when you speak as well. So, I mean, there's certain people that, you know, do command a great sense of attention.
So he knew me. I just forgot. I get so many talk shows I can't keep track. But I knew he was going to call me. Corsi told me that. Mm-hmm. And isn't it sad? I mean, it's really sad because it's home and you talk to somebody, and then I don't care who it is, 4 or 5 hours later you hear he died. That's sad.
And he's 43 years old, and he was going to release later in the day this Obama footage showing him with Bill Ayers and Bernardine Dorn back in the day planning for Obama to run for the presidency. And the day he's supposed to release it, right after he talks to you about your press conference yesterday, somehow he mysteriously dies walking back from a bar late at night. That is just amazing.
Well, I send my condolences to the family. I just happened to see him on TV and I remembered him again. Quite frankly, when I talked to him, I didn't connect meeting him prior, but it's sad. So I don't know what's going on with this whole situation with the birth certificate. I just have to do my job. I gave it to the cold case posse. I swear in citizens. They've been sworn in years ago, ex-cops, attorneys. So anybody that accuses me of wasting taxpayers' money, they can't accuse me of that. They're accusing me locally of everything you can think about, that I did this to cover up the Justice Department. I think I told you about that. Mm-hmm. I'm just doing my job. 250 Tea Party people came to me and said, "Sheriff, you're our last hope." Can you look into it? Okay.
All right, I've got to ask you one last question, which is an obvious one, especially in light of the death of Andrew Breitbart. Are you taking good care for your own safety or concerned about your safety given what you're releasing?
Listen, I got Mexican cartels after me. In fact, they're pretty cheap. There's only 4 million. So I got all these threats. Just busted a guy in Portland threatening to kill me. There's a guy in Tennessee we're working on wants to kill me because of Obama, working on him. I get these threats all the time. I'm a big guy. Been around law enforcement 50 years. Maybe I ought to go to Las Vegas. Trump will give me one of his rooms.
All right.
Where's Trump with all this stuff? Too busy endorsing Romney?
Well, actually, Trump came out and was questioning the president's birth certificate a long time ago as well. So, I think
he didn't do anything.
No, he questioned a long time ago.
He's not a law enforcement guy. Now you got a law enforcement agency looking at it.
Well, the first one looking at it, Sheriff Joe Arpaio from Maricopa County, Arizona. Listen, as always, Sheriff Joe, America's Sheriff, thank you for being with us.
New details today in the mysterious death of a coroner's autopsy technician. There are reports that the 61-year-old may have died of poisoning. KCAL 9's Randy Page is live at the LA County Coroner's Office in Boyle Heights to show us what investigators know so far. Randy.
Lena, I must tell you, this has been a very difficult case here in the coroner's office. This is the first time in recent memory they find themselves investigating the death of one of their own. This is Michael Cormier, seen here in a YouTube video from several years ago, a veteran forensic technician for the LA County Coroner's Office who devoted much of his life to solving the mystery of unsolved deaths. Today, his death is presenting his friends and colleagues at the Coroner's Office with a mystery of its own. Cormier died a week ago after complaining of severe stomach pains. Close friend, former LAPD officer Armand Belderain spoke to him 2 days before he died.
When I called him, he was at Kaiser in Panorama City. He had told me that he was having stomach pains, and he had admitted himself at Kaiser. And I believe they kept him overnight, and he was released the following day.
And then a couple of days later, he was back.
A couple of days later, I got a phone call from a mutual friend who told me that Michael was at Providence St. Joseph, not doing too well.
Sources at the coroner's department tell us Cormier was well respected and took his work very seriously. A man known to be meticulous, determined to find the cause of death in order to provide families with answers and some form of peace. Sources also tell us Cormier was a big man with a big heart. The job sometimes wore on him after dealing with so many senseless deaths.
A lot of times he would call me and tell me that to get that sense of peace, he would go to the cemetery and spend time with the Lord to allow God to comfort, to soften his heart.
Belderain says Cormier was a devout Christian. He says he believes his close friend has found peace. As for the mystery surrounding his death,
I think we should give the LAPD the benefit, allow them to do their full and thorough investigation, which I believe they will. And let's wait for the coroner's office and their toxicology report, and I know that takes a while as well. And then we'll have the issue settled in our hearts once and for all.
Now, law enforcement sources have told us that arsenic may in some way be involved in this case. How is unclear. We do know that real answers in this case will most likely not be known until the toxicology reports are in. That is at best 1 or 2 months away. Live in Boyle Heights, Randy Page, KCAL 9 News.
Barack Hussein Obama is now the first American president ever to come out in favor of same-sex marriage. In an interview last week with ABC, Obama broke with the traditional view of marriage between a man and a woman by affirming that marital unions between those of the same sex should be allowed.
An historic interview hours ago, President Obama speaking exclusively to ABC's Robin Roberts and announcing something no U.S. president has ever said, that he supports same-sex marriage.
I've always been adamant that gay and lesbian Americans should be treated fairly and equally. And I was sensitive to the fact that for a lot of people, the word marriage was something that evokes very powerful traditions, religious beliefs, and so forth. But I have to tell you that at a certain point, I've just concluded that it is important for me to go ahead and affirm that I think same-sex couples should be able to get married.
Now, some are saying that Obama's support of gay marriage is due to his own homosexual leanings, but no solid evidence for this has been produced. For instance, in honor of Gay Pride Month in June of 2009, Obama invited gay leaders to the White House, to whom he declared, "I will be your champion, who will fight both with you and for you." But this, including Obama's intimate embrace of one of the homosexual leaders, and even early photos of Barack in his youth, is uncertain proof that Obama is gay himself. Yes, at the meeting, Obama did confirm that he asked Congress to repeal the long-standing Defense of Marriage Act, which traditionally defines how local, state, and federal bodies are to recognize partnerships and determine benefits. Yet this still proves nothing. But there is credible evidence attesting to Obama's same-sex past from a very persuasive witness, a Larry Sinclair, who's been very public about it too. In his book, Obama and Sinclair, Cocaine, Sex, Lies, and Murder, Sinclair describes how in November of 1999 in Chicago, he personally engaged in sexual activity with Obama in the back of a limousine and later in his hotel room. Notably, on June 18, 2008, before a large crowd at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C., Sinclair disclosed in a very believable testimony significant details of the homosexual liaison that took place between himself and Obama in 1999.
In regards to the Obama incident, I flew out of Colorado Springs, Colorado to Chicago on November 2nd, 1999, arriving in O'Hare early in the morning of November 3rd. I made reservations at the Comfort Inn and Suites in Gurnee, Illinois, based solely on the location to the training center. On November 5th, 1999, I hired the services of Five Star Limousine. On November 6, 1999, I asked the limo driver, whose name I now reveal for the first time, Jagir Paramit Mutani, if he knew anyone who would like to socialize and show me Chicago. Mr. Mutani said he knew someone who was a friend of his. On November 6, 1999, after picking me up at the hotel in Gurnee, and this is significant, Mr. Mutani used his cell phone to make a call. That call was made to then Illinois State Senator Barack Obama to set up an introduction between myself and Senator Obama. Upon arriving at the bar and exiting the limo, Senator Obama was standing next to Mr. Mutani, and I was introduced to Senator Obama by name. Later that evening in a bar which I believe was called Alibis, and I state believe because I have failed so far to get Citigroup to provide the credit card receipts that has the actual name. I mentioned I could use a line or two to wake up. Senator Obama asked me if I was referring to coke, and I stated I was. After stating I was, Obama stated he could purchase cocaine for me and then made a telephone call. Senator Obama and I then departed the bar in my limousine and proceeded to an unknown location where Senator Obama exited the limousine with $250, which was provided to him by me. Returned a short while later with an 8-ball of cocaine, which he gave to me. I did ingest a couple of lines of cocaine, and shortly thereafter, Senator Obama produced a glass cylinder pipe and packet of crack cocaine from his pocket. Obama then smoked the crack cocaine. I performed fellatio on Senator Obama in the limousine during the time Senator Obama was smoking crack cocaine, after which I had the driver take me to my hotel, the Comfort Suites, Gurnee, Illinois. The following day, November 7th, 1999, Senator Obama appeared at my hotel room, unannounced, uninvited, where we again ingested cocaine and I again performed fellatio on Senator Obama.
No sooner was the meeting over than Sinclair was arrested and led away in handcuffs with no charges attached. An involvement of then Senator Joe Biden surrounding the arrest was afterwards reported. Biden, it is alleged, informed authorities a few days before the press club meeting that Sinclair was a fugitive of justice. However, others see Sinclair's arrest as a miscarriage of justice, drawing the conclusion that Larry Sinclair became a political prisoner at the bidding of Obama operatives. But the real miscarriage here is Obama's claim that by supporting same-sex marriage, he is upholding the ideals on which our nation was founded. Not true. America's founding fathers upheld the role of the traditional family as the foundation of national morality. But surrounded by Jewish special advisors, radical socialist Valerie Jarrett, ad man David Axelrod, and Zionist shill Joe Biden, Obama has toppled all that was left of our national morality by advocating in support of same-sex marriage, the unnatural, unseemly, unchristian, deviant act of homosexuality.